Hello, humans. This is Michael Herrick with HIPAA for Humans, realistic cybersecurity advice for healthcare. We can spend so much time worrying about preventing a HIPAA data breach that we forget that there's a whole part of the HIPAA law that requires us to have a plan in place when, not if, when there is a data breach. That's the HIPAA breach notification rule. HIPAA has three rules: the security rule about security controls and procedures to protect data, protect its confidentiality, integrity, and availability. It has the HIPAA privacy rule that explains who we can share data with and how we have to get permission from the patient to share their data with others. And then there's the breach notification rule, which requires us to have a plan in place for what we're going to do when there's a breach of patient data and who we have to report it to. We're going to have to report it to the affected patients. We may have to report it to the government. And depending on the size and the nature of the breach, we may even be required by law to report the breach to the media. But before we do any breach notification, there's actually a first step anytime there's a security or a privacy incident at your healthcare organization. First, we're required to look at the incident, evaluate the incident, and determine whether it even rises to the level of a reportable HIPAA data breach. The law distinguishes between impermissible disclosures and data breaches, and not every impermissible disclosure constitutes a data breach under the law. So you've got to make sure that you make this distinction. An impermissible disclosure is simply somebody getting access to data that they shouldn't have had access to. And depending on the nature of that incident, depending on who got access, and depending on whether or not they can keep that access to that data, that security incident, that impermissible disclosure might be a data breach that has to be reported under the breach notification rule. So just keep that in mind. Anytime there's a security incident at your organization, anytime there's a violation of the privacy rule, anytime somebody at your organization, including other patients, anytime somebody gets access to patient data that they're not authorized to access, that's probably an impermissible disclosure. Your very first step is to engage your incident response policy to evaluate that incident and determine whether or not it rises to the level of a HIPAA breach that has to be reported. We can help you with this. Anytime there's an incident at your organization, we always help our clients with responding to these incidents, making a plan, following the incident response policy, and engaging the breach notification policy when it becomes necessary. If we can help you with that, don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be happy to talk through with you any security incident that may be causing you to lose sleep at your organization and see what you have to do about it. I'm Michael Herrick at HIPAA for Humans. Thanks for watching.